All right, what's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's good? Let's get this started. All right, good morning. Oh, let me get these off. I don't need these right now. Perfect. All right, good morning, everybody. Let me actually just make sure I'm not frozen. All right, we're good to go. All right, what's good, everybody? Gang, gang. Oh, let me actually make sure you guys can actually see me with this. All right. All right, what's good, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully, everybody's having a great start to their week. I know yesterday being Monday, very much a slow day within the market, so we're not going to be able to, or now we will be able to take a look at what we, some of our markups, make sure that a lot of things that we're looking at can and are fruitioning in our favor. Let me just make sure we're good on my end. Okay, yes, we are. All right, what's good, my man, Rome? What's good, my guy? All right, good morning, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a great start to their week and a great Tuesday as well. Ruth Miranda, good morning. How are you? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining on. Thank you for being on with us today. And I see a lot of people just jumping on right now. So again, thank you guys for being on with me today. Obviously, I wanted to jump onto the charts, identify some potential trade setups, answer any and all questions that you guys may have, look at some markets that you all would like to take a look at as well. Don't mind me, I have a Red Bull here, so if you sound me going like if I sound a little bit too excited, it's just because the Red Bull, I promise. All right, so I do want to obviously stay relevant to what you guys would like to take a look at. This stream is always going to be about value, consistency, and making sure that you guys understand exactly what's needed to become a consistent and profitable trader. Let me make sure I haven't frozen yet. I have not. Perfect. So I really want to make sure that you guys understand that the tools that we use here are just very simple ideas, and the tools the tools that we use are very simple to use. The ideas and the way that we trade here is very simple as well. The concept of trading itself is easy if we just kind of understand what how to perfect our discipline, if you will. So that's kind of like what we're going to go over within these streams. Obviously going to show you exactly how I mark up charts and really just identify what's needed to become profitable. So hopefully you guys can pick up on that. If you think that anybody is going to be able to get any type of value from that, please make sure that they're on this call as well. Share this with somebody so that way they can get some value and maybe even some trades. I know that yesterday we were looking at some things. We'll take a look at gold. I think that's the only one that we're really looking at. I know GJ we were looking at as well, so we'll take a look at those two markets that we're kind of looking to trade. If there is an opportunity within those markets, we'll absolutely look to take those as well. If not, then we'll see if there's anything we could place live as well together. So let me just make sure any questions or anything. I have not frozen yet. All right, cool. Because I don't know why, but for some reason my my webcam always just freezes. I have a great computer, is like top of the line. If I don't think you can get any better at this point, and it just always freezes for some reason. So hopefully it doesn't continue to do that. But real quick before I continue, is there any questions that you guys may have? Feel free to let me know in the chat. I am looking. If there is any markets that you would like to take a look at as well, feel free to let me know. I could definitely take a look at those charts and go from there. But let me see what else we have. My girl Nikki, what's good, Nikki? How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, real quick for Legacy students. I mean, right now the EA that I'm like kind of back testing some students that we're back testing together. I just kind of like been working and tweaking. I have no idea how I kind of like learn how to make an EA, if you will, based around a specific strategy. It's working really, really good. I might actually just consider about letting you guys use it much earlier. So probably by the end of this week, I'm looking to get that to you guys so that way you can all use for your FTMO accounts and obviously acquire more money. So, and obviously it's not guaranteed, but I mean, it has shown great success. I want to make sure it continues to do that. But I mean, there's going to be no cost to you guys. So I got you guys. So if you guys want to use it, I got you by the end of the week. Real quick, my man Steven, what's up, Brody? Top of the morning, big dog. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's up, Nikki? And hopefully that does, make you guys happy because I want you guys to be able to trade with a lot more capital so that way, and hands-free at that. So looking to get that for you guys by the end of the week. Oh man, Steven. All right, so real quick before I answer any questions because it seems like EA solid, bro. Oh yeah, Rome, you're on it. I know. But real quick, what I want to do is take a quick look here at gold because gold right now, as we were looking at yesterday, and actually I did put this out as a signal for Legacy students, and this came out beautifully. So we'll actually go back and let me just make sure this looks good on for you guys because for some reason I feel like the stream does not look quality. Like my screen does not look like you can see the back. I know I look weird doing this, but I'm very peculiar, like very meticulous on how everything is for you guys because I want the value to look good, and it does not. Oh, never mind. It corrected now. Okay, so the stream does look good for you guys. You know what it is? Because for some reason on my phone, or I feel like even on the computer, it looks very choppy, but I think it's just because I never let it actually buffer, and now it looks solid. Okay, I just want to make the stream quality great for you guys. So real quick, we're going to go over gold. Oh, let me actually make sure I have the chat available for you guys as well. So real quick, we're going to go over gold. This is what we were looking at, if I'm correct, yesterday. And we're going to go over the reasoning on why I was looking for sells, what originally happened when we did place the sells, and what's currently happening, and we'll see what we can do from there. So you can see my current markup. This is what I'm identifying in whole, right? This is just for this specific time frame, right? Just breaking it down to be detailed to identify a potential entry, which we did. I did, in fact, tell legacy students to sell gold, and I'll show you the entry here in a second after I mark this fully up, so you can understand the reasoning on why we got in. And let me just make sure, again, I'm not frozen because that would be embarrassing. All right, I'm not. So I'm going to delete everything, and we're going to remark this up, and I'll even go back and like do the replay so that way you guys can see everything in total. So again, I know I keep saying this. I know we went over this in total and so many times, but if you're new to the stream, this is going to be the first time you're seeing this. If you see me do this already, it's going to be repetitive, but repetition is key. So what I'm looking at right now is currently, if I look left to get right, we again hit this level of strong structure up here. Now I'm not going to call it supply, demand, support, resistance. I'm just going to call it structure. I'm just going to call it price because I know we all have different ways of saying these things. There's so many different terminologies, but that's a level of structure where the market cannot break through. If we look left, right? Excuse me. So we can see the rejection again from that level of structure. So that level of structure rejection is going to tell me that there's no more bullish momentum. And we can see the rejection from there. And I always tell students, wicks equal rejection. If you guys don't know, now you know. Let me just make sure. Okay. Beautiful trade. Yeah, it's worked out good. It got me nervous at first. I ain't gonna lie. I'll explain the reasoning behind it, but we're now in beautiful profit, so I'm not mad. So you can see here again this level of structure being respected is just again, I'm not going to call it anything else. So that wick showing us rejection as well. That shows us that buyers are no longer very active within this market, and we should be looking for somewhat of a different idea. When I scale down to the daily time frame, we're still getting candlestick characteristics. Again, I want you guys to understand, pay attention to candlesticks. So we're going to do this. We're going to say study candles. Oh, because there's something here that, I mean, there's a lot here that I want you guys to pay attention to. And I'm not going to go too crazy on this on the stream because the biggest thing I want you guys to also understand is, I mean, you're getting a lot of value from this stream. There's a lot of content that you guys can even get from candlestick patterns. There's a great video that I even saw here that was just posted not too long ago. I forgot from who, but I mean, it was a great candlestick, educational video. So you guys could definitely go take a look at that. But I want you all to understand, to study candles. That is a big factor in not just my trading, but in any successful price action based trader, you're looking at a lot of candlestick patterns or candlestick behaviors and the variance of them. And that's really important. So I can't stress it enough for you guys to go ahead and take a look at some candlestick patterns and study those. What is good? I always say Wyona. I always mess it up. I apologize. You know what's crazy? I just messed up my last name at the airport. They asked me for my last name and looked at me like I was crazy. Like, you're not this person. I forgot what I said my last name was, but it was definitely not that. So I'm sorry. But yeah. So even as we continue, you can see here on the daily, like I know we spoke about before, or I'm sorry, here on the 4 hour, we have that. I mean, how many times did we see it? I mean, we have a head and shoulder pattern here, which caused the original sell. There's a giant head and shoulders pattern here, being the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. You can even see here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I mean, this pattern pops up everywhere. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And that's not, I'm not even trying to just make that up. Like that's what we have to look at. That's what the market is leaving behind. Those are the clues. So if I can identify that, I'm gonna use those clues to identify what the next potential move is gonna be. Now, what I'm looking at is, and actually, if I'm correct, I did have this trend line. As we continued, I'm starting to identify more confluence within this market to see if this is in fact going to continue to be bearish. Now, I'm actually going to draw this structure here, the support, structure. I ain't going to call it anything, but I'm just going to say structure. right? Because that would be considered the neckline of this entire pattern. So we're going to do this. Neckline. Or we're going to say the low that needs to be broken. Because oh wow, that's crazy. Because if that low is broken, it's going to show us continued sells, right? Because it's creating a new low. And you can already see how the market is creating lower highs as it is. It's a high point. Lower high. So what is that telling you? Probably the market is losing volume, right? So that lower high or the lower highs being a really strong aspect. I mean, we could even go back up to these highs, but we're just going to pay attention to these right now. We can see how the market is losing the bullish value, right? What you've been drinking? Oh, you know what's funny? You said that? Red Bull. Been drinking this Red Bull. That's why I'm so hyped right now. That's what I said in the beginning of the stream. I was like, don't mind me. I'm already on some Red Bull. But as you see here, these lower highs are obviously showing me that the market is giving us more bearish signals, right? We don't see the momentum to the upside as much as we did previously on gold. So what I want to identify, I'm going to leave that here. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete this. Now what I can identify is what's going to happen next, because obviously the neckline of this giant pattern, but we also, this is structure for this neckline. I'm not really paying attention to that too much, to be really honest. But when we scale down to a smaller time frame, we're going to be able to identify a few potential things, right? This market previously, we'll actually replay this. We were here at the time. So at the time, we were looking at this market. If I'm correct, we did have this a trend line somewhere over here. If I'm correct, we were looking at that to be somewhat of a valid idea in the future. And then we also had structure here. And we were waiting for the market to show us some type of rejection or some type of bearish sentiment, right? Some type of idea that sells could occur from here. And we also had our fibs, swing high, swing low. And you can see here again the 50% retrace ratio giving us some type of idea. Now I'm going to just draw this as an entire zone because I know a lot of people would say 61.8 is the holy grail fib ratio. You're going to use them all. It's not the holy grail. So when we actually looked at this at the time, I actually looked for entries on this candlestick for legacy students. I sent this out as a signal. It was somewhere roughly around here. So it went beautifully. Like I immediately said, oh, it's dropping right into profits. And then the next candle shot right back up. And it had ended up not being in profits. And actually, I think went a little bit in more drawdown, if I'm correct. But what we're looking at is, I'm going to get rid of this trend line, is you can see the original trend line here working at that level of structure, also with your fib ratio in conjunction. So the sells here was still very much valid at that structure point, at that fib ratio, and also the correlation of your trend line. So the sells should still continue here with gold. Now, if you're not in the trade, if you're not already in sells on gold, I mean, the analysis was given yesterday. Hopefully you guys were able to use the analysis given here on the live session for you guys to make profits with it. Have I frozen yet? I have not. Cool. My webcam seems to be working beautifully. So if you were not able to place the sells on that yesterday, that's absolutely fine. Let's get rid of everything. We'll mark this up in a sense where we can actually look for more potential sells. There's a few ways we can actually take a look at this, because just because we're in current profits on this doesn't mean that it can't come back up to this area. Again, our entries are somewhere within the wick of this candlestick. All right. So yeah, actually, I think it's perfectly right there. So what can happen is, I mean, this is still very much on this time frame, somewhat in like a little range. Oh, already getting people hitting me up. I got 3 computers in front of me, everybody. I got the auto trading computer, the education session computer, and now the computer where I have our EA running for us to pass FTMO accounts and shit. So if you hear a bunch of noise in the background, I apologize. I'm a working man. So as you can see here, what I'm looking at is, again, this little range. This is a minor level of structure and a minor level of structure. This could play around within this range, and if one of two things happen, if you guys can't see the market, or if the market can't come up here, you guys can eventually sell from those highs. I mean, that's the best, I would say, probability idea, right? The risk reward. right? You put your stop loss to take profits where you deem best, or the market can actually break through. And if it does, obviously we identify where targets or first targets may end up being, and then you can probably get in on that retest of said structure point. So we can actually just draw like this. If broken, look for retest. I don't know why everything's in caps. I'm not yelling at you guys, I promise. So what you guys can see here is, there we go. I'm just trying to get that out the way. So we can even see something like that here with gold. And this is just to start us off with, just to identify, some potential ideas, and then I'll take a look at what you guys want to look at as far as markets and see what questions you guys have. But I wanted to see if there was any trades here with gold. I wanted to see if there was a potential, sell setup for you guys. But right now, not so much. Right now, there could be, and I'm not telling you to do this, but there could be some type of corrective buy, meaning that we might have this idea happen. Might come back up to these highs, might get another sell entry, push lower. So if you guys are looking to scalp, if you guys are looking to intraday trade, because it doesn't necessarily mean that once this is respected, it immediately comes back up there. And you guys can buy from these lows to that high, and then from those highs to a specific low. But I'm not saying go ahead and buy that. I'm saying do what you please. But that's the analysis that we have currently on gold, and I'll see what else you guys got. So let me see. Yeah, any questions, any markets you guys want to take a look at, feel free to let me know. I definitely will. Let me drink some Red Bull real quick. What's crazy is I used to always look at teachers. I think I said this before whenever I went to school. I used to look at teachers, and I always wondered why they drank so much water or just drank something in general. And it makes so much more sense now. Because I was a quiet kid, I never spoke that much, and they always speak and they always talk, so I see why they're always thirsty. But all right, I'm just skimming through some stuff. I might have to just get rid of some previous analysis. Buy kill zone. We might not got to get out of that trade here in a bit. Let's take a look at USD CHF when we come back to that. USD JPY just stagnant, stuck. All right, I want to see what you guys want to take a look at. I think that's important. And again, there's a delay on the stream too. For some reason, there's I feel like a 5 to 10 second delay. Sometimes I feel like it might even be more. So if you ask a question and it seems like I'm not answering it, just give us some time. I promise it'll pop up. Can you look at Euro GBP? There we go. Yeah. What's your question with Euro GBP? That's a very easy one. You know what I mean? So what's your question with Euro GBP? I think that's. So when you give me a chart, what's the question with it? Because I want to make sure that I'm speaking on relevance and giving you exactly the answer that you want. But this is pretty easy in a sense of kind of identifying what to do. GJ, I'll take a look at GJ. I was going to take a look at GJ anyway. That's always a pair that I'm going to take a look at. Okay, so Euro GBP, it's a pretty easy one to kind of see what's going on with this. Now, I understand that we are at structure here. If we look left to get right, that's important. I do understand that factor. But, the overall synopsis of this is this market, did I freeze? I did not, okay. So, somebody said selling. My man Alexander, yes, absolutely. It is in fact selling, but not just selling, it is selling, but I want you guys to understand that when you're looking at this, don't go against it. If you have any questions, damn, all right, Euro GBP is selling, but where should I buy? You know what I mean? Don't think in that sense. Let me see real quick. Never mind, wrong one. You meant GJ. It's kind of this. At this point, it's kind of the same thing that we'd be looking at with this, though. You know what I mean? But I'll take a look at GJ. That's kind of like an easy one too. You know what I mean? Especially at this point. I was looking to see what the market was doing and see if there was sells, but I wasn't really convinced on that. This is another pretty easy market. You know what I mean? This is something that you don't go against. I'm on the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame being a very high time frame. The reason why we're doing that is because we look at the previous lows where it was at lows at before. The last time it was at a sell was in 2020. So basically, literally at coronavirus. You know what I mean? Inverted head and shoulders. Are you talking about GJ? I'll take a look at that here in a second. I don't see one here as of yet. But I mean, this is another thing, you know, like on the weekly time frame. When I want everybody to do me one favor. If there's one thing that you're going to take from this session is to understand that you're not using small time frames to determine shit but entries. You're using the higher time frames to identify the true trend and direction of what the market is doing. That is it. You're not going to sit back and say, well, this market's buying. Where is it going to be oversold at? No. You're going to look for where the market is going to place your next buys from. Now, there's a few things that we could look at this and maybe dictate some sells, but those sells will be short-lived because we're not looking for sells long-term. What we're looking for is continued buys. Again, look at how long this has been a buy for 2 years and continuing. So we can't go against that. We can't just wake up one day in the 2 years that this has been bullish and be like, this is the day that it goes bearish. We don't know that. We have to continue to use the technical analysis that we can currently see. So again, if you're using the smaller time frames thinking, oh, it's overbought, it has to sell, absolutely not. This is very impulsive to the upside. So you have to really make sure that you're looking at this. So what can I see? I can see a bullish market. 50% of your work is already done once you understand the true direction. That's it. You don't need to be like, well, is this bullish? Is this bearish? You can just look at it. Just look at it, right? That's not to be disrespectful. That's just to install how easy, or like to like trick your brains into thinking like how easy this could be, right? A lot of people, when they look at this shit, they're like, oh, well, I don't know what to do with this. Well, the first thing you do is it up or is it down? That's not hard to think, right? Is it up or is it down? So you know if it's up, you're buying. If it's down, you're selling. That's an easy concept and an easy way of kind of thinking about things. Now, if I can see that the market is currently up, it is buying. Easy enough to kind of comprehend. Now, if I can, I'll do this on the daily because we already see what's happening here on the weekly. When we scale down, what has happened? If we look at this, what has happened? The market found structure. As we play this through, what had happened? It broke above. That's important. Why? Because we can see that it created a new high and that buyers now have confirmed that they are still in control. And what's happened? Not much from here, right? There has been somewhat of a correction. That's probably the 23.6. I don't think I measured that out. Or, oh, that is a 38.2. So that is a valid correction. So what can we do? Possibly identify more continued buys. Because if we can see that this market is bullish, why would we go against it? At least right now, right? Especially now since it's kind of giving us more along the lines of confirmations. Because when we're looking at this, this does have or had the sense of a head and shoulders pattern. And I was waiting for that to actually be respected. Let me get rid of this up here. But we're kind of seeing that this is not being respected no longer. At least with the current candle, we got to wait for that to close. The current candlestick is trying to break above and may close above because what, got 30 minutes left? You know what I mean? So if that breaks above, I wouldn't really look for any more sells. It still hasn't broken market structure as far as creating new lows either. So, I mean, GJ does seem as if it is a continued buy. And when Euro GBP is selling, hint, hint, that means pound pairs are buying, hint, hint. Makes sense? Good. But yeah, it's a pretty easy one. Like, I don't want any, and I say that because I'm trying to trick your brains into thinking that, to saying that, oh yeah, that is easy. Look at it, you know? And again, that's not to sound disrespectful by no means. This is just to really help you guys because nobody's really going to do that shit with y'all. If you really think about it, everybody's going to be like, you know, it's a different way. You have to have a different way of thinking when you jump onto the charts. Everybody wants to make this complicated. I mean, we can if you wanted to. Like, look at all this shit that we could use to make trading as complicated and difficult as possible. You ever seen this shit? No. Don't ask me how to use that because I don't know. You ever seen that? I mean, there's so much that you can use to make trading as crazy as possible. We're not trying to do that. You know what I mean? And that's what I think a lot of people have on their minds. But once you start thinking in that concept of if I see it's up, it's buying. I should be looking for buys. Where should those buys be? Let me identify. Those should be the steps that you go into it with. Not just like, oh my God, what is it buying? When is it going to sell? Is it oversold? Is it overbought? Nah. And you obviously I just got a question this morning too of indicators. Here's a little tip about indicators as well, because I know a lot of people use them. Like RSI, MACD, stochastics, anything to really show oversold and overbought areas. We can actually take a look at that now. Actually, we can see RSI, relative strength index. Just a very simple concept. I don't know why they have this moving average thing here. That kind of confused me. You can see how overbought this has been this entire time with little to no sells. A lot of people, they will start looking for those sells and think it's a reversal. You never want to use indicators. They're kind of obsolete. Not indicators. You could use indicators, but such as RSI, oversold and overbought ideas, oscillators, in these trending markets, because it will give you kind of false signals. And that's just a little extra tip. You meant Euro GBP. That's a fact. Higher time frame tells the whole story of where the market is going. Exactly. It does not discriminate against anything else but true market movement. But let's see real quick. All right. Any other questions? Any other markets you guys want to take a look at? Euro AUD. That's crazy, man. Like, some of these markets have just been just way too crazy. And I mean, some in a good way for some, I would assume. But like even this, there might be some type of re-entry points. But when something's so parabolic like this, it's kind of hard to determine when your entry points would be. But I mean, even with Euro AUD right now, how impulsive this is, this had to have been some type of news. I'm just going to mark this up and see if there's any type of pullbacks to that area. Now I'm going to just identify this like this and just wait. So now it's a waiting game for Euro AUD. So let's mark this up as a potential. 16 people watching. Hit the like button, y'all. Hey, I appreciate that, Nikki. Yeah, please, definitely. You know, I mean, it's definitely going to improve for you guys. The more that this community grows, the more, I mean, value and ideas that I'll have for even people not part of the Legacy, banner. Just people who are watching, just people who are in the Discord. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that, Nikki. If you can, definitely like this. I know you guys get a lot of value. I know a lot of you guys are learning. I get messages from you guys every single day, which is beautiful. Thank you. And it motivates me to continue to give you guys this value and this knowledge. So I appreciate every last one of you guys. But real quick, any other questions? Any other markets you guys want to take a look at? I definitely got you. Euro USD. That's good. What's crazy too is, and we'll actually talk about this because it's it is a very serious thing in the sense of what we're looking at. So Euro USD, and I'm pretty sure is based around the euro itself. But Euro USD selling, and then you can see AUD USD extremely buying, which I'm pretty sure this was Aussie news last night, if I'm correct, because that's a pretty big move. But I mean, if we even go take a look at NZD USD, it's buying. These pairs usually correlate, meaning that they're usually following in the same direction. And they're trying to, they're not identical, but they work in tandem. Not so much. And the reason why I'm going, and GBP USD just kind of like stagnant and stuck, not really giving us much, which is crazy because we can see other pound pairs giving us more movement. You can even see Euro GBP giving more of a bullish idea for the pound. But we're not getting that with this. At this point, all markets should be treated as an individual. And what I mean by that is I know a lot of people use the concept of correlation within their trading, meaning that if I'm looking at Euro USD buys, I should be looking at GBP USD, NZD, and AU buys, in the correlation of, other US cross pairs. I don't see that so much right now. So I want everybody to kind of take it easy if they're looking at that concept. And that's just an extra little tip because that's personally something what I would do, or I actually do. If I'm looking at, sells on gold, I'm looking for any type of value in the direction of the dollar. But I don't see that right now, so I'm going to be very careful in that concept as well. And let me see real quick. And subscribe. I appreciate y'all, yo. I really do. I've been in sells for EU since Sunday night. Yeah, I've been in sells from EU from last week, if I'm correct. Somewhere around here, if I'm correct. So... And it's crazy because I'm allowing other markets to, act right, but they're not. Again, that correlation factor is kind of out the window at this point. So that's why I'm just going to treat everything as its own individual. Because I do use that correlating factor a lot where I'm looking at the idea where The market itself is, giving me an idea of what what pair is stronger, or like what currency is strong. So like if we see like the dollar again, or like the euro, I see all the euro pounds being more along the lines of bullish, or 1 euro pound being bullish. I'm going to expect the majority of other pound pairs or euro pairs to be bullish as well, because if one is, the others might be as well, because it seems like the euro is gaining value. So I'll kind of go in that concept and direction with my analysis to, continue with that trend. But we're not currently getting that. So yeah, being careful with it. It's been kind of consolidating, hasn't really moved a whole lot. I'm in profit though. If you're in profits, then you're right. Your analysis was right, and it has been consolidating. It really has. It hasn't really been doing too much, but I mean, as of yesterday and today. But I think today, especially now, because it's already 8:30, so it's New York session, and you got the New York Stock Exchange. You got everything 9:30, so you got you're gonna have some volatility waking up here in a bit. It's just a matter of time. Everything within trading is patience, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's true. Everything within trading is absolute patience. So real quick, let's take a look at US 30. I know somebody's going to ask, so let's take a look at it. Now I'm going to jump up to the higher time frame, of course, because that's what's the deciding factor of everything for the most part. Now, again, if I'm correct, if you guys were on some of my sessions previously, for anybody who's been on for a bit, you would know that I was even looking at this entire range as a potential buy zone. Not potential, but it really did just work out as that. I'll just mark it up someone like that. Okay, just making sure I haven't frozen, and just making sure that I'm looking at all the comments. So I can see that this buy zone was executed beautifully. So this is already looking more along the lines of continued buys based off of the rejection that was shown. This candlestick here has little to no wick, if I'm correct, this bullish one. Does it have a wick? Everybody hit me up. Little to no wick, right? So that's important. I want everybody again to go take a look at studying their candlestick patterns and and the behavior of them and what they mean. But that's a very strong factor from a level of structure. Scale down to a smaller time frame, you guys can see what I can see, which is actually hopefully a correlation with gold. Because again, I know I'm over here talking about treating them as an individual, but if there can be the correlation, that would mean continued sells on gold. Because if we have an inverted head and shoulders pattern here on US 30, that would indicate continued buys, and that gold has the potential of selling pretty harshly as US 30 and all other indices continue to buy. So let's actually scale down to a small time frame and mark this up. Let me see real quick. Hey Jay, are you on Twitter? Wanted to know if I could share your YouTube links over there to get more people to join these live calls. I'm personally not on Twitter, brother, but if you would like to share, I would be more than grateful. Honestly, I highly appreciate that. For anybody who wants to share the content, whoever wants to do that, I would be more than grateful. Because again, as you see, like there's a lot of value. This is a lot of education, and this is what I'm going to be doing with you guys every day. So the more that we grow, and I promise you, I already have things organized and lined up where when we get to a certain amount of subscribers, that I'm going to be giving you like a month, everybody in the Discord, a month's worth of signals for free. Things like that, where it's just going to be more value to you guys for the essence of us growing the community based around actual, transparency being one, and actual value and consistency. So if you can share, by all means, I appreciate that. So again, looking at US 30, I'm just drawing this bullish trend line. If you guys are trying to identify the reasonings on why, you have your connected points on your trend line, and you always want to make sure you're having multiple touches to confirm it. Just a very simple concept. I know everybody here understands the idea of trend lines. If you don't, guess what? It is a line that shows the current trend. Ooh, guru answer, right? No, absolutely not. It is really easy. Like trading, when you break it down and you start understanding what the words really mean, it's the easiest concept to really grasp. Like supports, the market or that price is supporting the market from breaking lower. Resistance, the market is resisting from breaking above a higher price. That's it. When we start understanding the context of it, it just becomes a little bit easier. I'm just trying to help you guys understand a little cheat codes, if you will. But let me see. One love. Yo, my guy Terrence. What's good, baby? What's good, Terrence Evans? So real quick, what I can see is, again, this level of current structure on US 30 is kind of holding in a sense. But I don't think that's going to hold too long. So let's get rid of a few things. I want to get rid of these. so there's no confusion. And I know everybody loves trading US 30. US 30, Nas 100. I know all that. I still don't know why, but I see it. I'm going to mark these highs here as well because that will obviously that's going to be the high that needs to be broken to continue giving us the idea that highs will or buyers will still be in control. But right now, I mean, let me scale down even further. Even on the smaller time frames here, we're getting an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Not even somewhat. We definitely are. You can even see it here. And in case anybody's wondering why I'm so adamant about head and shoulder patterns, I mean, Trading View, oh, you can't even see the thing. Trading View wouldn't make the tool if it wasn't important. Right? So you actually have a whole tool showing you the pattern and how important that is. And the neckline here has already been broken. And we might actually have the retest of that neckline. I'm going to draw this backwards. I don't ever really like doing that, but I just want to see. No, definitely not. Give me 1 second, because that looked as if that was being retested. But can I like extend this? Oh, okay, I see. That's why. So what I was looking at, I thought this was being retested by the neckline in total, but not so much because there's no third touch. But yeah, no, I don't like that right there. I thought there was going to be like a retest over here of the actual neckline if we were to draw it out, but there is none of that concept. But in this concept, there is. Now, that's the whole zone, if you will. Obviously, we're not going to draw it like that. We're just going to cheat right now because we can see where the market currently is. If that's broken, obviously we're not going to use it for any entries, but we're just identifying some factors really quick. So yeah, I might actually start looking for buys on this. Let me check the 15. So I might actually go ahead and start looking for some buys here on US 30, to be completely honest. I know everybody loves order blocks for you order block people, your 15-minute order block. I personally don't use those, but I know everybody likes the bank trade idea. So then you would have your, yeah, I mean, that does actually look like a nice little buy here on US 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this on the radar for us. So that way, if there is a trade, we can actually go ahead and place that. Have I frozen? I didn't. Okay. Let me see. Okay, no questions, no comments. All right, just making sure that we're good. So let me see if there's anything else. No markets, no other charts you guys want to take a look at. No questions. Is anyone confused with what I'm doing? Or is anyone new to trading? You don't know how to trade whatsoever, and you're just like, what the fuck am I looking at? Because if you are, let me know. I mean, whatever you guys need, I definitely got you. And if anybody thinks I'm crazy for drinking Red Bull this early, if anybody drinks like 10 cups of coffee this early, that's kind of like the same thing. Or probably even worse. I don't know. But yeah, don't judge me for my Red Bull drinking. All right, let me see. All right, no questions, no nothing. Let me see what gold's. Oh, wow, look at that. Just like we said before, right? I was looking at gold. I was like, if broken, look for retest. And we don't have that. Right now, we actually do have the market coming right back up to these highs. Again, just respecting or ranging within this area. So what we can do is, and this might be risky because I don't want to go ahead and place sells, especially after such a strong rejection in this candlestick currently. We have about 15 minutes for this candlestick to close. Let's see how this next this candlestick closes and the next one kind of behaves, because we could look for some potential sells here on gold from this area, from this resistance high. So if there is somewhat of an idea of that, we could place that together. But if obviously that level of structure is broken to the upside, whether it's with this candle or the next, we're not going to be looking for sells, and obviously we'll negate that idea and change our bias. But right now, that does kind of seem as if it wants to be bullish. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean because it's breaking above here, this will be the entire zone. We can see how a candle can meet a specific price and then leave a wick to the upside, showing us that it no longer wanted to actually meet that price or remain at that area. So I actually just draw the whole zone like that, just so that way if the entire zone is broken, we have a stronger confirmation. So right now, potential sells on gold. So let's do this. Now, I know a lot of individuals, they go on the smaller time frames. They probably already made their trade from here to here, you know, in the 15, the 30 minute or the 5 minute time frame, whatever. Like, I get that. In gold, this is a lot of money, especially if you got the right, you know, lot size, about 100 pips. That's more than enough. But me personally, I like the bigger moves where if I can get from this high to these lows down here, that's what I personally like. I don't like being in a trade or a market where I just got to place a trade, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out. Be worried about it. I want to know the overall analysis, know that the entry that I have is going to work in my favor and continue to push at least, I mean, in this case, this is what, almost 1,000 pips probably, maybe even more. Oh, wow, over exaggerated. About 400 pips. I thought it was way more for some reason. Because if this is, you know what I mean? Like, this is 100 pips right here in one candle. I don't know why I figured like that might be 1,000 pips. But I guess 400, almost 500 pips. But yeah, I mean, I like that idea a lot more in the sense of trading. So if we can, and I might start getting into re-entries here shortly, just as a very risky move anyway. But I mean, I might get into some re-entry here, re-entry sells on gold here, if in fact we start seeing some more rejection from this range. All right, no questions, no none. All right, so, and again, anybody jumping in right now, no entries have been made on this. We're looking for potential sells on gold because if we can, that'll be beautiful. What I would be looking for is more candlestick behavior or candlestick rejection. I really want to identify that the market is in fact going to identify the structure as a block, if you will, as a barrier, and really make sure that sellers will be taking over from that price point. Because if we could sell, I mean, if anybody did buy from these lows, I'm not too sure if anybody did, and you took profits from there, now you can kind of double up on your trade and look for potential sells. Now, if you haven't, that's fine. Take your stop loss, move it to break even, and see if this market could break above. Because if it breaks above, you're already in a solid trade, and you're going to catch more money and more profit. So if anybody did execute that, that's actually beautiful. I personally didn't. Obviously, we're on here live, so I did not. But I know we went over that and explained a few things. So if anybody was able to take advantage of that, beautiful. But yeah, we might be looking for some potential sells here, setting up on gold, which is beautiful because again, that'll kind of give us an idea for strong buys setting up here for US 30. So I might actually send these two trades out in the Discord for everybody while I send out the remaining trades for the remaining signals for legacy students and also the auto trader. And also, if I'm correct, the EA we just might have just put out a bunch of buys out on gold. So I think they just caught that entire move. That's crazy. So my strategy, my EA that I've just weirdly created is based off of this weird looking strategy that I have. So it's kind of been working very good. So I'm actually excited to see how that works for us this week. And for legacy students, if you haven't given me your email for it, let me know. I'll send it over to you guys here shortly. Let me see. Your kill zone is at 9. I'm assuming for US 30. Wait, for which? Oh, you're talking about for gold. Your kill zone is at 1948, 1952. Oh, I mean, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I would think that if it does break, obviously even above this high and obviously above here, I mean, it'll most likely reach the next highest point, to be really honest. You know, because when the market is going to make a decision, it's going to make a decision at one of these structural points. It's not just going to float in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not saying this is the middle of nowhere, but if we're talking about actual relevant structure points where the biggest move was made, where was the biggest move started from? Up here. The biggest move didn't start from over here, right? And I'm not talking about this move or this move. I'm talking about the entirety of it. This is the start of it. So this was the price that said, nah, motherfucker, you can't get beyond this high. And it just continued to fall. So the market will most likely come back to one of these levels of structure for the essence of continue to sell, right? So if anything, let's say, let me actually put that back. So if anything, I would think that if it breaks above that high, whatever, right? And then it comes back up to these highs. and then make a stronger decision of what it wants to do next. But I'm not. That's my analysis. You can absolutely still be right. You know what I mean? 100% still be right in the sense of your analysis. Now, I think you're looking at it based around like the idea of, are you looking at an order block idea, like a 4 hour order block? Let's see. So I know everybody loves those. That'll be considered your 4 hour order block. Obviously, because that was the last bullish candle before the break below the level of structure being here. I personally do not use this strategy, but I know a lot of people do. And you bought at 1928. That's beautiful. Good shit. Yeah, you bought probably from within that range. Yeah, you know what I mean? Beautiful. You're just using that same simple concept of a ranging market, you know, and especially with gold, a small range like this is a pretty significant range, and you can make a significant amount of money. And this range here is a testament to that. So me being able to see that, I mean, so far it's not being broken out of as of yet. I know I was looking at, you know, here before, but I'm just, if we look at the whole range, I just don't like my ranges being that big, or like my structure ever being that big. So I just try to cheat in a sense where, you know, we're using the exact current market price and, you know, previous history as well. You could be right. Oh, H4. Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. That's why I was like, yeah, H4. But yeah, I mean, even here, so we'll do this. Just like what we did with the support range, right? If respected, we will sell from this range high. Now, again, if this is respected, we will sell from this range high. And if broken, obviously we'll look for continued buys. Now, it does look like a very strong bullish engulfing candle with a large wick to the downside and wicks even across the board here, which is a testament of, you know, sellers may not be as bullish or relevant as they were previously. But we even had that same concept here with this bullish engulfing candlestick. Didn't quite break those highs. So I really, again, want to see how this candlestick closes here within the next 5 minutes. But I also want to see how the next candlestick behaves as well, because obviously this one closes here and the next one goes boop, breaks right above. That'll still determine that buyers are more relevant, if anything. But let's see how this actually plays out. But if this is respected, we'll look for sells, and then we'll actually just do this as a side note. Oop, wrong tool. If broken, change bias to buys. Nope. I don't know why everything's in caps. Again, I'm not yelling at you guys, I promise. But yeah, just looking at it in that manner. So gold might start giving us a strong idea. And I mean, we might start doing some scalping on the 5 or on gold and US 30 and on some of these mornings, just when the event of like if there's really not much to trade or go over. But also I got to make sure if anybody understands or knows how to fix the delay from OBS to YouTube, that would be beautiful, because then we can actually start doing that, going like just scalping US 30, scalping gold here as well. Because I mean, on here, on this time frame, I mean, if I was actually looking at this to scalp, in the sense, if I had the mindset to scalp, I would have probably just gotten everybody into the buys from here to get everybody some quick money. But if anybody knows how to get the delay away from OBS to YouTube, I'll definitely do that with you guys on a daily basis. But yeah, any questions, anything you guys got, and let me know. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at some crypto. So I want to see Bitcoin real quick, see what this is initially doing. So I'm looking at this actually, oh wow, that was actually something that we looked at previously. So my investment range was hit. I actually did not invest here at this point because I do believe that this is going to continue to sell. A lot of the cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, are going to devalue, but not for long term. I think this is just going to be sorry guys, I know you hear a lot of noise in the background. New York City, no matter what, is going to be noisy. For what I'm looking at for cryptocurrencies, for the most part, in my honest opinion, is a continued sell, right? Now, I know a lot of people might disagree or don't want to agree with that and don't like the idea, but I mean, it's a very simple thing to see. We have a break and retest of previous structure here. And that's also considered the neckline of the current head and shoulders pattern that was broken. So it's been confirmed, right? Oh, I messed that up. I was over here. I was looking over here for a second. So on a smaller time frame, it'll look a little bit better. But it's like this, right? So we already have the break of that initial neckline. So the break of that neckline is already telling us the true direction of where the market wants to go. Can't make this up. So we are looking at more continued sells. I'm not saying hopefully, but I also am in a sense saying hopefully, because that means a better price for the majority of everybody to get into. So let's say if it does start to sell from here. Oh, where's my fib at? Duh. Almost forgot my fib. So we're also getting that confluence here with the 38.2 retest of a trend line and structure of a very significant structure at that. So I do think at least Bitcoin and the majority of all cryptos, because if Bitcoin is going to make a fall, I do think other cryptocurrencies will as well, because I mean it correlates. They follow very intact. And that does follow intact more along the lines of the correlation between forex pairs. So I think that if Bitcoin is showing strong bearish potential, at least back down to this area, we might actually be able to get in more, invest better here. And even if that's broken, which is a very strong possibility, here, which would be absolutely beautiful, because then, I mean, at that point, everybody's getting this shit at 90% off almost, and you're looking at a longevity, an investment for Bitcoin of millions and millions of dollars. I know that sounds crazy, but if you invest a small amount, I mean, who knows what can happen in 5, 10, 15 years if you hold this, because this is my 2 to 5 year plan, depending on how much I invest for me to retire, right? So I do think with the majority of cryptocurrencies, we're going to start to see a strong sell-off. So let me actually go ahead and do this. Strong investments range. I don't know why that just was a lowercase s, but we're going to use it. Doesn't matter. And we're going to clone it. And we're going to do the same thing down here. So the majority of cryptos, in my opinion, will start to sell. And I think that goes for across the board for all of them. And let me see. Good stuff, bro. This is Nick Robinson. Yo, what's good, homie? Bitcoin at 10K. I would like to see it, honestly. A lot of people, so this is the crazy thing. A lot of people didn't believe me when they were like, oh, yo, Jay, it's at 70,000. It's not going to sell. It's impossible. It's way too volatile. I was like, okay, bet. All right. And then it did. And then I said, oh, well, this is going to sell once again. A lot of people, nah, man, what are you talking about? It's just a correction. Everybody's put money into it, and it sold once again. So it's the technical standpoint that I'm following over than just Facebook statuses, if that makes sense, right? Or, it's really important that we understand the true direction of what this market is doing, or the patterns that are being left behind, or the clues that are being left behind. And we can clearly see that right here. So I do think that the majority of all cryptos, Bitcoin, Ripple, Dogecoin, XRP, Shiba Inu, we'll actually take a look at Shiba just because we can already see what's happening with that. I mean, it's correcting to these lows or back to these lows to give everyone, not just us, big banks, institutions, people with trillions of dollars that want probably even more. I don't know why you would want more at that point. But they're correcting to these areas where I do believe that they will start to become more valuable, more bullish from. Like Shiba right now, I'm on the weekly. It has broken out of these from this low here, from that weird range that it created, but it's never been tested. But right now we can see the market correcting back down to somewhere, but where's somewhere at? I mean, this is the previous, the high point, or the opening, or the day that it opened, rather, the time that it had actually opened and became an actual coin. So that's showing us some type of structure. Or back down to here, a level structure that hasn't been tested yet, right? I'm just identifying where the market is always going to find or make a decision from, because that's where the best ideas and probabilities will be. So the majority of, I do think that the majority of cryptos will have some type of bearish movement. But if they start showing more continued buys, and obviously I'll change bias, but right now they're not really giving us that. Even XRP, right? Oh, what's this? Oh, this is on the weekly. This is, oh yeah, okay. So even here, not really finding a strong move to the upside. This does have an inverted head and shoulders pattern, so I do want to see how this works out. But a lot of these cryptos are starting to show a lot of bearish intent even here. There's a head and shoulders pattern. This pattern, it just comes out of nowhere, man. I'm telling you, this is like the weirdest thing. I haven't seen so many this often, to be really honest. But I mean, all cryptos at this point are really showing a strong bearish movement. So I think if anybody's looking to, I mean, day trading cryptos is great. You could definitely day trade them. But investing into them, putting money into a wallet, I mean, for long term, yes, it's a great idea. I do believe. But if you're looking for an instant return on your money right now, I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think that we're going to start to see this continue to push down lower, and you might lose a little bit of money before you actually make. So I think right now the majority of all cryptos should be left alone in the sense of investing. If you are day trading them, I would say along the lines of looking more for potential sells. Bitcoin at 10K. I'm just rereading that. All right. So any questions? Any other markets would you guys that you guys want to take a look at? Feel free to let me know. I mean, if not, look at that. GJ kind of just chilling within that area. Let's see what happens. The new candle has opened. But let's see. Let's see how these markets shape out to be. Right now, it doesn't seem like too much. Seems like a lot of these charts are just kind of, I mean, except for some of these New Zealand pairs and these Aussie pairs. Everything else just seems, and Euro GBP. Well, actually, a lot of these pairs seem to just be, it's weird because like the pairs that are usually volatile, USD JPY, not so volatile. USD CHF, which is usually volatile, not so volatile right now. USD CAD, actually volatile. This has been always a volatile pair, but not offering so many, opportunity for entries. Markets have just been kind of weird in a sense. But yeah, I mean, there should be some opportunities later on today as these markets develop. Obviously, tomorrow being Wednesday, look at that. You know what I mean? Tomorrow being Wednesday, the middle of the week, there's still volatility, so we might actually have more opportunities for trades. But I mean, if you just you can identify the market in any way that you want, but there's always going to be some type of entry. You just got to figure out how and where you want to see them from. So I think, again, look at gold. We identified the analysis kind of working in our favor. I know the candle just opened, but I mean, we identified it one way, and it's kind of working in that area. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints. If you guys need anything, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude for today. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Again, I just want to jump on a call with you guys, make sure that I'm answering any and all questions that you guys may have. I'm helping you guys succeed and progress and get to the next level of trading. As we continue to grow this, hopefully you guys help me continue to grow this community. As we continue to grow this, these sessions will continue to last much longer. Much more information will be given. Much more profits will be handed to you guys as well. And obviously the value to you guys will be continued because I have a lot of ideas on how to help not just legacy students, but everybody that just simply follow the legacy banner to really help you guys progress and make as much money as possible in the Forex markets through just simply transparency and consistency. So hopefully that kind of helps and makes sense. Yep, never a problem, Nikki. Never a problem whatsoever. Hopefully it helped. Hopefully you guys have a few of your questions answered. Hopefully some of the charts that we went over helped you become a little bit more knowledgeable on those said markets and obviously on your just trading skill in general. But it seems like you guys are good. My man Rome, never a problem. Nikki, I love you to death. Sydney, I appreciate you, my guy. Terrence, one love. You already know. Steven, everybody, I appreciate every last one of you guys. If you guys can, it really does help. And I promise you, and I know it sounds really weird, but this is how YouTube works, I guess. Please like, subscribe, do all that jazz. Only because, again, I really want to build this community through consistency, through profits, and through a strong idea of value being given through our Forex community and through this Forex niche. So I definitely appreciate you guys. But it seems like you guys are good. So what we'll do is we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on first thing tomorrow morning. Legacy students, I'm trying to find a way to get a little vote bot going, but let me know if you guys would like to start doing binary once again. And within the binary sessions, I'll actually be teaching you the full legacy line strategy. I feel like that might be a little bit easier because I didn't realize how hard it is to make an actual training. It's a lot more difficult than live training, to be really honest. I don't know why. It's weirder for me. I feel like people can make a recording, call it a day, never have to teach live and show their skills, if you will. But I love doing it live. I can't record videos on trainings. It's really weird. But I'm still going to sit back and try for you guys. But if you guys would like to do binary sessions at night, I will be actually doing binary live pretty much, I would say pretty soon, because I feel like for me, I've always learned better when it's real money. But I do want to practice binary, which is going to be used in the legacy line strategy. So I will be able to teach you guys how to actually trade the legacy line strategy through those binary sessions. And especially if you read the PDF for the legacy line strategy that's in the Discord for you guys, it's going to be so much easier. I absolutely promise. So real quick, let me see. Ruth, I appreciate you. Never problem whatsoever. So yeah, legacy students, let me know what you guys want to do. Everybody, I appreciate every last one of you guys. Thank you guys for being on today, spending some time on to this live in this session. Again, as we continue, these will get much more better, and the value will be consistent. And obviously, we'll stay on these calls for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long we need to identify and answer as many questions and go over as many charts as you guys would like to take a look at as well. So thank you guys so much. Have a blessed day. Stay as profitable as possible, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, everybody. Thank you.